did you guys notice the list of rights and benefits and privileges that were denied to unmarried couples? It scrolled through the entire intermission. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Did you see that? So that's about one for everyone here tonight in this theater. It's absurd. It's crazy. When Gregory Maguire wrote the novel Wicked, my guess is he had no idea how many people his story would wind up reaching and how deeply, that it would become a phenomenon, take on a life of its own. The same thing can happen when we speak out about marriage equality. Someone says something at a dinner party, then 3 people who were there talk about it at work the next day, then those people email something about it to their families in 6 other states, and then things change. But none of that happens if the first person doesn't start the conversation. If Gregory hadn't written the novel, we wouldn't be here now. Think about that. And though Gregory couldn't join us tonight, he sent this letter to be read. I get to read Gregory's letter. He writes, hum-a-num-a-num, hum-a-num-num. I've always wanted to do that. With our 3 adopted kids, all in grade school still, my energy runs out most evenings about 9. So around 9:15 every night I tuck myself into bed up against my artist husband, the painter Andy Newman, who, taking the breakfast shift that starts at 5:30 a.m., is often asleep, at least unless I wake him up. Some evenings before I grab him, I grab a collection of fairy tales, for I never tire of reading about tribulations of the unfortunate. As Cinderella, I sit in the ashes of whatever disappointment the day has brought to our household, a surprise math quiz, a mediocre review, an audit from the IRS. As the steadfast tin soldier, I soldier on. Will the next adventure be writing another story that inspires a musical that opens on Broadway? Or will it be hunting frantically for a lost mitten before the school bus arrives? As Gretel, I scheme to save my brother Hansel from the witch's oven. As I begin to nod off, the book drops out of my hands. In that foggy way that stories and dreams merge, I'm not only trying to save Hansel, but also my children, and my husband, and myself, and others I don't know. All too quickly, the book slides to the floor. Startled, I sometimes glance at the clock before turning off the light. It is 9:27 in New York. Elphaba and Glinda are singing that line of Stephen Schwartz's In Tandem, "Together we'll be the greatest team there's ever been." And then, a moment later, Elphaba is soaring, and I'm relieved, someone to watch over things while I take my rest with my honey in my arms. Every night, Elphaba flies against the tyranny of the status quo, of public and institutional bias against the green, the quirky, the queer among us. L. Frank Baum and Margaret Hamilton might be Elphaba's honorary grandparents, but in my mind, Elphaba represents another lineage. Elphaba is inspired by novelist Virginia Woolf, who, in A Room of One's Own, questioned the prohibition against women attending men's colleges at Oxford and Cambridge. By poet Emily Dickinson, who pondered eternity in solitude while resisting the pressure of ministers and schoolmarms to announce her conversion publicly. By singer-songwriter Laura Nyro, who testified, "Love is surely gospel." Indeed, I see a bit of Elphaba in every one of us, whom, upon facing the rising tide of resistance, sweeps our cape around us and says, if only to ourselves in a small, quiet voice, "I think I'll try defying gravity. Hansel is my brother and he's in a cage. Gretel is my sister. The orphans from Southeast Asia are my children. Why not defy a little gravity now and then?" So, climb on that broomstick, gang, and put some extra swish into that cape. We can do so much. Together, we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. I wish I could be there with you tonight. My kids will need me to find their mittens in the morning, though, so I'm home guarding them. I'm probably already asleep. Yeah. But I'm dreaming of you already, and all we shall accomplish in the days to come. Best love, fly safely, and tomorrow we'll keep up the good fight tirelessly, for there's no rest for the wicked, and the fight needs us. It's a great honor to introduce the person I'm about to introduce. May the Schwartz be with us. Why me, you ask? Well, because I was in Godspell at the Plano Children's Theater. I was Judas, and I was fantastic. And I'm also friends with Vanessa Williams, and she taught me how to paint with all the colors of the wind. Stephen Schwartz!
Thank you all so much for being here tonight. It's just amazing to see this theater so full. And so the song which I'm about to do from Wicked is partly dedicated to every one of you in this theater tonight. But as has been said over and over again, we have to do more than just preach to the convinced. So many of the people who voted for Proposition 8 and who support other amendments and actions like that are not bad people, they're just ignorant people. And it's going to be our job to educate them and to make them understand how unfair that is, and that when one American is denied rights, then all Americans are denied rights. And if we can succeed in that, if every one of us in this theater finds a way to do that with just one or two people who need to be educated and it starts to spread, then some of them will be able to sing to us this next song. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you,